Hello my fellow gamers and welcome to a new video in Gamesground. Nintendo Switch has got a great year ahead of it with fantastic upcoming releases, which is why I bring to you the top 30 upcoming games for Nintendo Switch 2022. Number 30. Bomb Rush Cyberfunk. It's an action game inspired in Jet Set Radio and it's loaded with funky style and rhythm. Gameplay will be familiar with the Saga franchise fans. Equipped with propulsion packs, players will explore an alternative futuristic city, leaving their graffiti mark behind and avoiding the police. Running on walls and performing acrobatic tricks will give you advantage while moving, given they will increase your propulsion and ultimately they will enable Bomb Rush to give you limitless acceleration. Once you've left your mark on enough places, you'll be able to compete with another team for supremacy. As well as for Switch, Bomb Rush Cyberfunk is also in development for PC and it will be released in 2022 for both. Number 29. Life's Strange Remastered Collection. The remastered collection of Life's Strange is currently in development for Xbox One, Xbox Series X, PS4, PS5, PC, Google Stadia and Nintendo Switch. It'll bring a visual enhancement as well as improvements regarding gameplay and puzzles. New content will also be included, such as the Firewall episode, and it will be released February 1st, 2022. Number 28. Eiyuden Chronicle Rising. 505 Games, Rabbit and Bear Studios and Natsumi Atari have announced that Eiyuden Chronicle Rising will be launched in spring 2022 for PlayStation, Xbox and Nintendo Switch, being the Switch version a novelty. And for the fans of Eiyuden Chronicle that are already in a hype, I must remind you that the 100 Heroes version will become available in the distant 2023. Number 27. Pokemon Legends Arceus. There is no doubt that the next Pokemon Legends Arceus title will be one of the most important games that will be released for Nintendo Switch next year. We could arguably say the most important Pokemon game of the whole saga, given all the changes applied as to how the game is laid out. Pokemon Legends Arceus is the first open-world game of the Pokemon franchise that will transport players to a feudal land on January 28, 2022, and it will be exclusive for Nintendo Switch. Players will also be able to capture Pokemons by the many and fight them as long as they wish to do so. Number 26. Bayonetta 3. It's a third-person action game exclusive for Nintendo Switch and developed by Platinum Games. The first game was released in 2010 and it was a big success given the hectic battles which are familiar to another title of the same genre called Devil May Cry. During the recent Nintendo Direct, Nintendo presented a new Bayonetta trailer in which we can see the main character fighting a huge cage monster. The trailer also shows new zones and enemies like a new subway train and a really big spider. All the action takes place in a city in Tokyo that looks devastated, and it also seems to be the center of all main events in the game. The title will be launched in spring 2022. Number 25. Astroneer. The interplanetary survival sandbox adventure game has been played by more than 6 million space explorers since its early access launch on Steam in 2016 and its full release in 2019. Astroneer celebrates space travels, giving lone and group explorers a galaxy full of planets to explore. You can use the excavation tool to gather valuable resources and research new technologies, create machines, customize base stations, and uncover the secrets in the solar system. The space exploration and adventure game will be available for Switch January 13, 2022. Number 24. Dragon Quest HD 2D Remake. Dragon Quest III is one of the fans of the franchise's most beloved games. That's why a 2D HD remake of the game, bringing it to the new generation, is fantastic news as well as a pleasant surprise to the fans. Dragon Quest III was originally launched in 1988, which means a great opportunity for newcomers as well as veterans alike to play this historic saga title. The exact release date is still unknown, but we know it will be launched worldwide sometime in 2022 for Nintendo Switch and other consoles. Number 23. Azure Striker Gunvolt 3. This title is bringing the debut of a new character, which means that up to now we have 2 playable characters confirmed. The novelty is Kirin, a very agile lady in close-range sword combat, and we'll also see a new array of motion animations. Azure Striker Gunvolt 3 is the sequel for the previous 2 titles with the same name, and both released for Nintendo 3DS in 2014 and 2016 respectively. We can only hope that at some point of the beginning of 2022 an exact release date will be given. As of now, all we know is that it will be launched in summer 2022. Number 22. Marvel's Midnight Suns. It's a tactical RPG set in the Marvel universe and developed by Firaxis Games, also known by their franchises XCOM and Civilization. The game will have a wide array of characters from the Marvel universe, like the Avengers and the X-Men. We'll see characters such as Wolverine and Captain America. The game mode is similar to the Firaxis XCOM franchise, allowing the player to control a selection of Marvel characters to fight the enemy in a turns-based battle. The game also offers classic RPG features such as exploration and the ability to chat with other players. Originally, the game was scheduled to be launched at the start of next year, in March to be specific, but it was confirmed via the game's official Twitter account that the game will be launched by the second half of next year instead. This delay means that we won't see the game until July 2022 at the earliest. However, it feels more like it will be launched by fall next year for PC, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series X, and Nintendo Switch. Number 21. Dragon Ball: The Breakers. While we were waiting for a sequel for Dragon Ball Z Kakarot and Dragon Ball Z Fighter, Bandai Namco has announced a new asymmetric multiplayer survival game instead. Developed by DIMS, Dragon Ball: The Breakers will arrive for Nintendo Switch, PS4, Xbox One, and PC in 2022. The Breakers is an online multiplayer asymmetric game. Players will be in the shoes of raiders such as Cell, Majin Buu, and Frieza, or one of the 7 civilians trying to run and hide. Apart from running and hiding, these 7 survivors will be able to work on their abilities tree, weapons, and much more with an ultimate cooperative goal, which is to escape from the grasp of the raider. Number 20. Advance Wars 1 and 2 Reboot Camp. The Nintendo announcement of Advance Wars 1 and 2 Reboot Camp during the 2021 E3 was without a doubt a big event that pleased the public. Fans had been requesting for a long time the comeback of the turn-based strategy game. However, since its reveal, we hadn't heard much about the Remake duo until now. The last October 22nd, Nintendo announced via Twitter that the remake had been delayed. The launch, originally scheduled for December 3rd, 2021, will happen at some point of 2022 instead. According to Nintendo's eShop, the game will be released April 8th, 2022. This release date hasn't been confirmed yet by an official Nintendo announcement, but numerous players have been able to see the date while browsing the eShop in their consoles. Number 19. Star Wars Hunters. This new title is dated after the fall of the Empire following the epic Battle of Endor. The game will allow players to visit some of the most famous places of the franchise, putting them in the shoes of fearless bounty hunters, heroes of the rebellion, or an Imperial assault soldier, in an action game that plunges players in a revolving Star Wars conflict which is visually amazing. Star Wars Hunters will be available for Nintendo Switch in 2022 as well as for mobile devices, Android and iOS. Number 18. Kirby and the Forgotten Land. One of the most awaited games by the Switch owners is Kirby the Forgotten Land. This title will bring back for us the Nintendo's loveliest pink character in a new adventure which was just rated by the ESRB as an E for everyone, which indicates that the game is on the right track. It's an action-adventure game in which players help Kirby save creatures that have been kidnapped by the forces of evil. We can also cross 3D platforms, collect coins, solve puzzles, and use Kirby's abilities to fight enemies. In combat, we'll use the swords, bombs, and blaster pistols. Some weapons will have a sniper option too. The boss battles can be hectic, including lasers, bullets, and explosions, all aimed at Kirby and more often than not at close range. Fans can dive into Kirby's adventure in spring 2022. Number 17. Kingdom Come Deliverance. After numerous rumors, it has been confirmed that this title will be released for Nintendo Switch next year. This indie game is definitely on its way to the hybrid console. It's an open-world RPG that plunges the player in an epic adventure in the Roman Empire. You will play as Henry, the son of a blacksmith that finds his world destroyed by a group of mercenaries that murder his whole family. Tunnel visioned in vengeance, he starts his journey along the 15th century empire, and he'll stop at nothing until he accomplishes his goal. Number 16. Mario+Rabbids Sparks of Hope. This sequel will allow players to control a group of 3 characters traveling through vibrant stages filled with turn-based battles. In order to win, players will have to use their abilities to attack, jump as a team, and activate special moves. Using the run attack, characters can use their limited movement range to hit several enemies and deal a good amount of damage. And with the team jump, they can use each other to reach higher grounds or to jump gaps. This title gives players control over the characters of the Super Mario franchise, including Mario, Luigi, Princess Peach, and Yoshi as playable characters. There is also an equal amount of rabbits, each one disguised as iconic characters with rabbit as prefix. The game will be exclusive for Nintendo Switch at some point in 2022. Number 15. Dynasty Warriors 9 Empires. As in previous games of this saga, Dynasty Warriors 9 Empires will allow players to use the most iconic warriors from the 3 kingdoms in battle. However, this new title will have a few novelties when it comes to gameplay. We can mention, for instance, storming the castle, in which players will have to give orders to their units to break the defenses of the enemy forces in order to defeat them. Koei Tecmo has announced that Dynasty Warriors 9 Empires will be launched for America and Europe February the 15th, 2022. The game will be available on Nintendo Switch, PC, Xbox One, Xbox Series X, PS4 and PS5. Number 14. Lumbearjack. Jack is a humble bear with a simple dream: to retrieve nature its former glory with the help of its loyal axe and his animal friends. Hack can slice all sorts of machinery, teach a thing or two to those wasteful humans, and join forces with the forest animals to bring down the schemes of the evil corporation. The game was developed by Final Boss Games and published by Armor Games Studios. Lumbearjack will be available on Nintendo Switch and PC via Steam in 2022. Number 13. Spongebob Squarepants The Cosmic Shake. The story will have as main characters Spongebob and his friend Patrick. They will find a mermaid's tear that can grant wishes. Even though at the start everything seems to be going according to plan, as the story progresses we'll see how the universe's fabric is jeopardized, causing the opening of portals to wish worlds. In these worlds, 7 in total, our characters will meet other fellows, ranging from knights to cowboys to pirates and prehistoric snails, but all that is nothing that our favorite sponge can't handle when using the appropriate cosmic suit. The game will be available for PC, PS4, Xbox One and Nintendo Switch sometime in 2022. Number 12. Rune Factory 5. In Rune Factory 5, players will be able to choose a male or female character, Aris and Alice. They will embark in an adventure from the city of Rigbath in the search of their lost memories and to restore the peace in the city. In this adventure, players will be able to explore vast dungeons, defeat ruthless monsters, farm the lands, and establish relationships with other characters. Originally scheduled for 2021, this RPG farm simulator will officially be released March the 25th, 2022 on Nintendo Switch. Number 11. Ashwalkers. In Ashwalkers, we will follow the story of 4 adventurers that travel through a harsh world while they make difficult decisions that will dramatically affect the course of the story. A special physical edition of the game will be available thanks to Meridian Games, and it'll be available for Nintendo Switch on the first trimester of 2022. Number 10. Convergence, a League of Legends story. This platform action game is starred by Echo, the League of Legends champion that can manipulate time. The general story is still unknown, but we know it's set in Zaun, while Echo travels through platforms running on walls and rewinding time as it's needed. We'll be able to unblock different characters' abilities for combat as well as different ways to manipulate time in order to get the upper hand. This title will be launched in 2022 and it will be available for Nintendo Switch, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series X and PC. Number 9. Getsufumaden, Undying Moon. This game is based on a highly strategic combat based on the time and space aspects that are exclusive to Japanese martial arts. Fearsome enemies and an ever-changing ground will challenge players, allowing them to strengthen their strategy. The new title from the Japanese studio Guru Guru is currently under development and its release scheduled for 2022 for Nintendo Switch and PC. There will be an early access option on the Steam platform on May the 13th. Number 8. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: Shredder's Revenge. A new Ninja Turtles game is near, and you'll be able to control the 4 famous turtles through a lot of levels in which they'll encounter a bunch of enemies using their amazing abilities to defeat them. As of now, the game doesn't have a set release date, but we do know that it will be launched in 2022 for Nintendo Switch, PS4, Xbox One and PC. It will also be playable in PS5 and Xbox Series X via retrocompatibility, and the game will also have a cooperative campaign allowing up to 4 players to play together. Number 7. Metal Slugs Tactics. This version of the beloved tactic RPG shooter will be with us in 2022. Besides Nintendo Switch, it will also be available for PC via Steam. Metal Slugs Tactics will have a dash of roguelite. Players will be able to gain experience and acquire more powerful weapons to gain advantage over the enemy. On top of being able to attack multiple targets using the sync mechanic, there is also the Adrenaline Gauge, which can unleash super attacks. With a great value and replayability, Metal Slugs Tactics seems like it's going to be a great addition to the Switch library. Number 6. Evil Dead the Game. This game promises an excellent cooperative action multiplayer. Having to play in teams of 4 survivors, players will conquer fears while they explore, raid, build and find key elements to seal the crack between worlds. Besides the cooperative multiplayer, this game will also bring back Bruce Campbell as Ash Williams. Originally, the title was scheduled for 2021. However, Boss Team Games and Saber Interactive announced that the game will be launched in February 2022 for PS5, PS4, Xbox One, Xbox Series X, Nintendo Switch and PC. Number 5. Far Changing Tides. This game is the sequel for Far Lone Sails, and it will transport us again to its flooded post-apocalyptic world where you will have to explore what's left of civilization in order to survive while solving puzzles and sailing through different platforms. As it can be seen in the Far Changing Tides trailer, the Frontier proposal is very easy on the eyes thanks to its brilliant post-Armageddon art and graphic design. But this new title is also bringing novelties to the stage in its gameplay. This game will be launched for Nintendo Switch, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series X and PC at the beginning of 2022. Number 4. Hollow Knight Silksong. There isn't much available information regarding the release date for Hollow Knight Silksong, but there is no doubt that it will keep its very particular style. Team Cherry is the company behind the development of the project as they did with the original title. At first, it will only be available for Nintendo Switch and PC, the latter via platforms such as Steam. As of now, the game doesn't have an official release date. Nevertheless, the leak from the GeForce database hints that we might see the game in February 2022. Number 3. Splatoon 3. This will be the last game of the series, which goes back to Wii in 2015, followed by Splatoon 2 for Nintendo Switch in 2017. This franchise is based on Inkling multiplayer battles. These adorable humanoids characters are able to turn themselves into squids to swim through colorful inks. This feature is directly related to its trademark game mode Turf War, which gives two 4-player teams the hard task of covering with their team ink color as much of the map area as they can. As in the previous game, we'll be able to use guns with ink instead of bullets, and they'll be useful to cover the map with ink too, or to stunt your opponents. The third title of this colorful multiplayer shooter series is still in development and is expected to be released at some point in 2022. Number 2. LEGO Star Wars The Skywalker Saga. This new game will allow fans to play through the 9 episodes of the main Star Wars saga. After taking multiple delays, LEGO Star Wars The Skywalker Saga finally has an official release window. The developer Traveler's Tales Games confirmed that the title will be launched the second trimester of 2022 for PC, PlayStation, Xbox and Nintendo Switch. Fans will be able to explore more than 20 planets from their spaceships, choose from more than 300 playable characters and to experience different game modes. Besides all this, the fight system will be nimbler and more fluent. Different from its predecessors, this LEGO Star Wars title will not have a linear storyline, which means that players will be able to access all 9 episodes from the beginning and complete them in whatever order they see fit. Number 1. The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild 2. One of the most awaited games since its announcement in mid-2019 already has a release date for 2022. With this news, the Japanese video games giant finally confirms the launch of The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild 2 for Nintendo Switch. The first title was launched together with Nintendo Switch in 2016, and it was universally praised. The game was widely graphically improved from previous titles, and it also introduced free open-world mobility for players. It's a shame Breath of the Wild 2 won't be launched until 2022, but we have the pandemic to thank for it. However, there is no doubt that the next Link adventure will be one of the most sought-after Switch games of next year.